What's up, everybody? It's Josh, and we need to talk about Andor. And no, this is not clickbait. I really don't like Andor, and I really am done with Star Wars, at least for a while. So I want to explain what's going on. I want to explain the kind of plan for me moving forward, because I'm still going to do Star Wars coverage. I'm going to keep most of it over on Nerd Theory. I'm probably not going to talk about Star Wars a lot on my streaming channel. I'm not going to talk a lot about Star Wars on my main channel, and I will get into that, and I want to explain the situation with that. And, in the future, when Tales of the Jedi comes out, next year with Mando 3 and Ahsoka, there are still Star Wars projects that I'm excited about, and I still want to check them out, right? But I personally just need a break. It's a little bit of the Star Wars content, but it's a lot of the Star Wars fan base, okay? And so this will be my one and only video talking about Andor. After this, I'm done talking about Andor. I'm not going to be doing breakdowns. I'm not going to be doing watch parties. I probably won't even do an end cap video when it's all said and done. I'm just pretty much over it. And I guess I can start by talking about Andor itself, because here's the thing. The show's not terrible, okay? So you might be like, watching this video or seeing, me talk about this on Twitter or whatever, and you're like, damn, like Josh really didn't like Andor. Is it a bad show? Is he seeing something that I'm not, or whatever? And that's not really what's going on. I really don't like the show, but I can acknowledge that a lot of people do, and that it's not a total crap fest of a show. Like, it is functionally a lot better with regards to like set design, the way that it's shot, the performances that the characters give. It's on a much higher level than Book of Boba Fett and Kenobi. I can absolutely admit that, and that's great. And I also think it's awesome that so many fans love Andor. Like, when I look out on Twitter, I see the vast majority of Star Wars fans and just people that like entertainment in general really enjoying Andor, really liking it, thinking it's the best show that they've done in a long time, and just being excited about the direction of where the show is going. For me personally, I really don't connect with this show at all. I find it to be very boring. I find it to not feel like Star Wars. This is created because of a combination of the way the characters talk, what they do, the music that's played throughout. To me, Star Wars has never really been about incredible dialogue. You don't really have many scenes that, you have two characters sitting down and the dialogue's just incredibly intense. And in fact, most of the dialogue isolated away from Star Wars sounds funny. It's not that great. And as I was thinking about this last night, I was really imagining the first time in The Mandalorian that I saw the character of Greef Karga, right? And I saw this character giving that performance. And to me, it was so Star Wars. It's he's very boisterous. He's very theatrical in the way he speaks. It's almost like going back into like a period piece kind of a thing. It's not like a real serious, gritty, natural conversation. It's Star Wars dialogue, which is meant to emphasize certain things. And the usage of music in Star Wars, to me, has always pushed the story forward. It's always given us the extra emphasis we need for these particular pieces of dialogue and whatever. I mean, that's just, to me, like what Star Wars is, right? And so I get it. A lot of people really like what's going on in Andor. It didn't really connect with me, and it doesn't feel like this is the version of Star Wars that I first fell in love with and that I want to see more of. There's also no mysticism to the show whatsoever. I don't think they even mentioned the Force at all in the first 3 episodes, and it seriously feels like a cyberpunk, hyper-realistic version of Star Wars that, to me, abandons things that are pretty core to the Star Wars IP. Okay, so for me personally, I just really didn't connect with it, and I also found it to be incredibly boring. Like, there's a serious lack of action. And I felt as though we're kind of doing stuff with these characters that could have maybe been wrapped up in a couple of scenes, and we're spreading that out over like 2 hours of content, last night on Disney Plus. Okay, so for me, there are legitimate reasons that I'm not connecting with Andor, but I want to admit, and this is kind of going to take us into the next part of the video here, I want to admit that it can't be completely the content. It's at least partially me, okay? And I am absolutely jaded and burnt on Star Wars when it comes to the content, when it comes to the brand, when it comes to the fan base. It's just a lot of stuff that I really, really don't enjoy. In fact, covering Kenobi was probably one of the least fun times I've had as a content creator in recent memory, okay? And part of this is just because I really do think that Star Wars has kind of lost its way. There's no real cohesion there. They don't really know how to actually replicate the feeling of Star Wars over and over again in a way that feels connected to the things that came before, right? Other than like Dave and John, you know, except for Book of Boba, I don't really get the sense that they even know what to do with the Star Wars brand. So it's partially because of that, but it's really and truly a lot because of the Star Wars fan base. And I'm not trying to like really go hard on anybody here because I think I actually understand where a lot of the fans are coming from. Like the fans that are really hating Lucasfilm and Star Wars, they feel like they were called phobes and ists and they were shit on by Lucasfilm, and they've just really they're so burnt, and they feel like they always have to combat things and be really aggressive because they feel like they're always under attack, right? Like I understand those group of fans. I also understand the group of fans that feel like they've been sort of beat up or abused by the first group of fans I just talked about, and people that generally just don't like Star Wars for so long that they're ready, like, and super ready to just defend Star Wars at all costs and to tell people that don't like Star Wars that they're a hater, that they suck or whatever. It's really gotten to a point where I truly think like that's what you have going on. You have really two big groups in the fan base. One group ready to hate on absolutely anything and everything and just despises Lucasfilm and despises people that are enjoying Star Wars content. And then you have this other group of people that are so angry at retractors, haters, and people that they think have tarnished Star Wars that they're toxically positive. Anytime somebody wants to criticize something or isn't, you know, feeling the same way about Star Wars, the criticism comes in, and it comes in a really toxic way, right? So, like, again, going back to Kenobi, it was one of the worst experiences I've ever had. Like, the amount of people that were trying to gaslight me or tell me I was crazy for not liking the show, this, that, second, and the third, it was really, really irritating. And even last night, just in one stream, I got those same kind of vibes and those same kind of feelings, right? It's a divided room. And partially because I personally am not enjoying the Star Wars content, and I feel like it's disconnected from what I think Star Wars should be, but also partially because of how absolutely and completely broken the fan base is. I can't come into Star Wars anymore with an open mind. And I think that if you've been watching my content, if you watch the streams a lot, if you're an active viewer of Nerd Theory, you already know this. I mean, I have not made it a secret. I'm really jaded on Star Wars. I'm really angry at what Lucasfilm has become. I'm not happy as a fan at all. And so, you know, I tend to go really hard on them. I tend to judge their stuff a little bit more harshly. And I guess I just kind of have come to realize that the best thing for me to do is to just take a step back, right? I don't want to create a toxic, divisive environment for especially the community that we've built on the streaming channel. Like this channel and most YouTube channels, you kind of release content into the ether, and, you know, a set group of people watch them, but the engagement's not really like hardcore. You don't really like have a deep committed like fan base or community most of the time with just a regular channel. But what we've done on our streaming channel has been kind of wild. Like we really do have a tight-knit community, and I really care about the people over there that are members, that are, you know, supporting us, and that we're all like going through this experience together and watching all these different things. And I don't want people in that community to have to go through these uncomfortable, tense streams and have to feel this way in the streams. And so I think, honestly, it's like that expression, if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. I have nothing nice to say about Star Wars. And so I think I need to step back, because the only other option is to like go full on to the dark side and just shit on Star Wars at every pass. And I think, frankly, there are enough channels doing that. And I think, frankly, that's not what I want to do, right? That's not what I want the Den of Nerds to be. That's not what I want the brand to be. I love nerdy shit. I mean, I always have. I've been a huge nerd for a long, long time. And I started the Den of Nerds because I wanted to have a voice in what was going on in online fan discussions. I wanted to bring my thoughts to the table, start a conversation, and it's grown into a thing, again, especially on the streaming channel, where we as a community are just having fun with these nerdy things. And to me, it's kind of silly to keep trying to do this, to keep trying to like force a good relationship, a good stream, a good content when it comes to Star Wars. And so I think for now, I just need to take a step back. And like I said before, I will come back to Star Wars when certain other things happen that I'm really excited about, but I just really think I need to restrict the amount of Star Wars content that I'm making because I don't want to get super toxic. I think particularly Andor is a good show to do this with because it really does seem like a lot of the fan base really likes Andor and is going to embrace it. So it's kind of like a situation where I'm like, enjoy yourselves. You know what I mean? I don't want to, crap on anybody's parade. I don't want to rain on anybody's parade. So, enjoy it. Enjoy your content and the Andor that you love. I'm just checking out. I'm checking out personally. And although I do feel like I have legitimate reasons to not like Andor, I also recognize that I'm completely jaded. My relationship with my personal relationship between me and Star Wars as a brand is completely broken in a way that I couldn't imagine it actually would get to this place, but it is at this place. And, believe it or not, I think it's actually the mature thing to walk away, right? So that's it. That's the video. I'll still be doing Nerd Theory, talking about the different episodes. If really wild stuff happens for Star Wars in the future, I'll talk about it. But other than that, not going to be covering Andor, not going to be covering Star Wars. I'm probably going to do majority Marvel content. And even then, I'm trying to get more into lore stuff, comic book stuff, having fun with speculation on Marvel stuff, because there's a lot of Marvel stuff going on right now that I don't actually enjoy. So I'm going to be talking about this a little bit more on the streaming channel on Thursday morning. So come on by for that if you have any questions or you want to just kind of talk about it or whatever. But I think this is actually the right thing to do. I think it's a mature thing to do. It's a little bit of a bummer, but we're all going to be way better off. So there you have it. My thoughts on Andor, my thoughts on Star Wars, and hopefully we return to Star Wars someday. As I always say, I hope you're having an awesome and a nerdy day, and I'll see you in the next video.